let's talk about the Plague for a second. Her ability is projectile vomit. You need to vomit about 75% of her vomit in one go to put somebody into unbroken status, which they then have to heal at a well. Healing it at a well then allows the killer to activate the well for 1 minute to have a lethal. Proud win with another 1,000 biddies. Good lord, you're just pulling them out of your hat. Thank you very much. Enjoy, I don't know, enjoy my gratitude. Thank you very much. It's very generous of you to come in with 2,000 biddies now. You're absolute crazy. Now that first spot is definitely yours. Enjoy. Alright, so if we're having a little bit of a look here, let's think, how are we going to build our killer? We're going to build it at rank 10, and we're going to build it at rank 2. I mean, rank 1. Alright, if I was building this killer at rank 10, I don't need any way of enhancement in terms of, I don't need brutal, I don't need enduring, I don't need anything to assist me in getting pallets down quicker. Okay, so my first perk needs to be something to slow down the game. Now, Thanophobia recently did get a buff, but it is not as strong as it was in the PTB. At the PTB, it was 24% with all stacks. In this, it is 16%. So it's already lost 8%. So it's already lost a absolute metric shit ton. That is 7 seconds off a generator. So that's really rough to take away. Alternatively, you will have other plays. Don't get me wrong. This killer does not have a lethal unless you get the well. I'm talking about basic. Doesn't have a lethal, doesn't have a lot of pressure. What can we do in terms of slowing down the game? Well, because I don't have a chainsaw or I can't do mind games at pallets like a spirit or a nurse, I'm going to fall victim to running the most basic rank 1 perk that a lot of people do run, and that is called Ruin. Alright, alternatively, if I was on somebody like the nurse who counters loops completely, you can run whatever you want, agitation, something completely different, out of the blue. Right, our next perk. Now, normally I would say something to speed up the game in my favor. Okay, I'm leaning more towards not having a perk to speed up the game in my favor, being enduring or brutal strength. This is a rank 10 build I'm going for right now, chat. I'm thinking maybe have something to help me locate survivors. Now, I can run barbecue and chili. That'll give me good situational awareness. Alternatively, I can run infectious fright. That way, when I down somebody, anyone within 32 meters will reveal their location to me. Not needed. Could work really well still. Right, alternatively, right now, I have 2 different perks. Now, I don't know about you. My Ruin doesn't last whenever I run Ruin. Ruin gets broken like that. So I'm looking at running something along the lines of helping me out, to help me speed up the game in my favor. I'm going to go Pop Goes the Weasel. I don't expect Ruin to last. Now, this final perk is really optional. A lot of you are going to say, oh, Barbecue would fit perfectly. You're absolutely right. Barbecue would fit perfectly. Nurses, shit, doesn't matter. Devour Hope, doesn't matter. Remember, we're going to be vomiting on them, then M1ing them. Haunted Ground, doesn't really matter too much. We're always going to try and get maximum vomit out on them at a single time. Dark Devotion's cute, but I don't want to have to be looking for my obsession to then benefit it. I could always run the generator ceiling perk, but at the same time, that's going to expire in 1 minute and 20 seconds. Realistically, that's probably better to run the generator ceiling perk than Ruin under certain situations on certain maps, depending on your spawn, etc. On Hattonfield, I'd probably rather Ruin because of the hidey holes, but on a map like the Swamp, I'd probably rather generator ceiling. Right, our final perk is going to be one of 2 options, right? Now, this is going to be a little bit interesting for you guys. I'm going to say barbecue is one option. Alternatively, Bit of Murmur, it's rank 10, remember. It doesn't really matter too much your final perk. Alternatively, you could go for something along the lines of Whispers. Now, I don't run Whispers on a lot of my killers, but the fact is, this killer's 115% movement speed. You want to know where you're going while you're in tier 3, or the equivalent of tier 3. You have 1 minute of pure joy. You need to be able to know that there's somebody at this generator. Know that you're going to the right loop. Do not let Whispers control you. If there's somebody on Whispers and you can't find him, you cycle. This just gives you the general direction of where to rotate in terms of pallets, as long as you know how to walk in and out of the 32 meter yards to force Whispers in a set direction rather than a proxy around you of 64 meters. Alright, remembering this kind of thing can help you out a lot. Now, alternatively, if we're running add-ons as well, I would go for the best add-ons possible. Then I'm going to talk about the weaker add-ons, right? So you're looking at this and this. The rubbing oil allows you to charge your vomit so freaking damn fast, allowing you to exhale it so quick as well. Alongside this allows you to only have to hit like 30% of it, and the guy hits unbroken status. There are other options, don't get me wrong. I mean, ideally, this is probably one of the best perks in the game. Oh, not perks, add-ons. If you're running that and that, you have a really fucking scary build. They're going to have to use wells. I think that right there is top tier, but you're not going to have that every time, right? If we're going to go to the lower tier kind of things, if you are running Whispers, you could start with an apple. And an apple will allow you to have one area where you can just grab your corruption. If I was running an apple and running Whispers, I would want my ability to last longer. Now, what is it called? It's called Corrupt Purge. I want my purge to last longer. So anything down here, there you go, moderately. We've also got That is it. So that's an okay lower tier kind of thing that you can work with. I feel this would work really well at rank 10 if you needed to. You know where people are, as long as you're not just having whispers on and not using it. Sometimes you need to use whispers, sometimes you need to leave whispers alone. Do not let it control you. If you let whispers control you, you're going to be looking and hunting while the other guys are doing objectives. It's going to allow you to seal the deal when there's one survivor left. If it's a hatch standoff, it's going to allow quite a lot of good gameplay for you to be able to do. Right now, if we're going to move back down to rank 1, if we're going to go to rank 1, now, a lot of people, believe it or not, at rank 1 cannot hit their ruin. So, we need a perk to slow down the game. I'm going to skip this perk straight away and go to my next perk, right? I need something to know where survivors are. Now, I can choose either Infectious Fright or Barbecue and Chili. The choice is realistically mine. The choice is mine. Okay. Also, Infectious Fright and Whispers will work really well together in terms of knowing if someone else is around. I know it kind of counters itself a little bit, but you're going to know if you injure that guy, if somebody else is hanging around in Whispers, or if they're not. I mean, it doesn't matter too much, because you could just run Infectious Fright by itself, but still, it's just something to look at. Alright, so we're looking at our next perk. This is something to help me locate survivors. Okay, I'm going to skip this right now. I'm going to skip this, right? We're going to build on to our third perk. I need something to speed up the game in my favor. I'm versing rank 1 people. They're good, they're swift, they're on comms, they're communicating. I need to get pallets now. Now, am I going to respect pallets, or am I going to bully them down? I do not have play with your food on. If I run Brutal, I generally run Brutal and Play with your food, or Brutal and Enduring for the old school classic combo. Brutal and Play with your food on Leatherface works really well. Don't get me wrong, if they respect the pallet, you go right through. If you respect and they go right through, you go right around and you chainsaw them. You're too quick. 2.5 second chainsaw rev with 5% increased movement speed, you're good to go. Right, so if we're looking at this perk, I'm going to say the best perk in terms of you could possibly run right now would be Enduring. Alright, Enduring is fantastic. It gives you good situational and
show love one, show love one, show love one, show
Alrighty,
love
my
one,
dude.
show love one.
Alrighty. Thank you for the show love one. I really do appreciate it, Ryla Darkstar. Let me just finish explaining this. Alright, so if we're looking through to this a little bit more, we've got... Thank you once again for the 298 biddies. Don't think I'm ungrateful. I just want to make sure I'm explaining all this to the people that are actually here to learn about the plague. Alright, now I could run something for situational awareness like Spies from the Shadows. Spies from the Shadows and Whispers will work really well together to bully out the fact that somebody is around and they're near crows. Alternatively, you can look at other things. You can run Surveillance, but keep in mind you've got Vomit that you can pop on the generators in terms of that's going to help you out a hell of a lot by slowing down survivors' productivity on the generators. Alternatively, Distortance is not a bad option. Now, Distortance works really well with Corrupt Intervention to funnel people into the same area, don't get me wrong, but I think Distortance by itself is actually a key pin winner right now for me. This is going to allow me to know where multiple people are, allow me to vomit on the generator so it doesn't keep getting worked on, and if somebody does get vomit on them in the bottom left-hand corner and I didn't vomit on them, if I'm paying attention, I'm going to know, shit, I know he's back on that generator, and I'm going to be able to rotate back in towards that generator. Okay, it's kind of the top tier rank 1 kind of gameplay we're going for now. So I have Distortance for situational awareness. Right, now I can either choose Barbecue and Chili right now for more knowledge, I could choose Infectious Fright for more knowledge, I could choose Pop Goes the Weasel for aggression. These are realistically my 3 good options. There are other things I can do. I can run Save the Best for Last. I can run Bamboozled. I can run all kinds of things. So instead of making my decision on this, I'm going to go to my first perk. I need something to slow down the game. Right? I need to know where people are and get up to them and catch them quick. Depending on if I am running add-ons or not. Okay? Let's say I am not running add-ons. Okay? Not running add-ons at rank 1, I would fall victim to running the basic Ruin. I would go Ruin and I would probably go... You know, I wouldn't even run Barbecue and Chili. I mean, I wouldn't run Pop Goes the Weasel. I would run Barbecue and Chili for more knowledge. Knowing where people are individually and where people are grouped, very powerful. It does kind of counter the fact if 2 people are on a Jenny, I already know. So it does kind of not stack well within Distortance. Alternatively, I could put on Infectious Fright. Infectious Fright would work very, very well if I were to chuck it on right now alongside... Where are you, Infectious Fright? Hello? Are you there, beautiful? Alright, if I were to chuck this on and down somebody at their generator quick, I would know if his ally was still around to pick him up or to tap the generator, okay? Vomiting on a generator kind of counters that altogether. Doesn't matter too much. If I was using add-ons at rank 1, the story kind of changes a little bit, alright? I'm going to go towards Pop Goes the Weasel on this rather than Ruin, not rely on that kind of thing, and I'm obviously going to run the best option I can, which is this alongside this. If I cannot run both of these, this considerably increases the duration of the corruption. That is not the add-on that I was talking about. I'm talking about the Vile Emit. Excuse me. The Emetic. Alright, so if we get rid of the Emetic, we're just gonna look at what it does. Considerably increase the Vile Purge effectiveness. Let's scroll down. Moderately increase the duration. No. Moderately increase the Vile effectiveness. Boom and boom, right? I do not think there is a poor man's rubbing oil. I think rubbing oil is the only thing that moderately increases the charge speed, and I can run that, and that way I save this add-on right here. Rubbing oil is so good because you're going to be slowing down when you generate your vomit, and if you're slowing down, you need to make sure you get it on him before he gets around the corner. I think it's very powerful, and it will work really well against a good rank 1 group if you're smart with your pathing. You have Pop, which is going to help you depending on how good you are. If at the beginning of the game, no generator lights up, and there are 3 people or 4 people on 4 different generators, you're going to have a hell of a bumpy ride trying to pull that back, right? You could get rid of Infectious Fright. You could. If you're like, oh shit, I don't have Ruin, I need to know where I'm going, you're absolutely right. Knowing your rotation is very important and smart. If you're not comfortable with the maps, or if you're on a big map, and you think you're going to get a big map, Infectious Fright would be better replaced with Barbecue and Chili. Alternatively, if you're on a small map like the game, a small map like a blocked off map where you can't see, like Lyri's Institute, Infectious Fright is probably going to be a better option as well over Barbecue. It just depends on how you're going to play, why you're going to play, how you're going to rotate, what's going to be the best option for you. Are you using add-ons? Are you not using add-ons? Are you just playing for fun? Do you want the 4K? How are you going to rotate? And that, in my opinion, is the difference between a rank 10 spirit build and a rank 1 spirit build. If you are brave as shit, yes, you can get rid of Enduring and put on Brutal... not Brutal, sorry. You can get rid of Enduring and put on Barbecue. You can put on Ruin. You could get rid of Distortance and put on either of them, but this is going to give me so much knowledge without Barbecue and Chili. Alternatively, you can trade out Distortance for Barbecue and Chili too. This being said, guys, do you have any questions about the Spirit? The Plague?